Today's show is brought to you by Skunk2 BMF TLRC, twin lobe racing camshafts.
As soon as the innovators from other areas stop to exist, he's going to make billet parts. After done setting records with 1 and 2, we released 3, 4, and 5 so they could set records with 3, 4, and 5. When we started around chasing that 9 second, like 9 was a big deal, right? A 9 M1 car back then, pro car, was like a big deal, right? Then we started realizing, oh, they're using M5. Well, how are you regulating M5? You can't. Once you start mixing shit to M1, where do you stop? That's where you come in.
Well, that actually predates me. So even during that time, now that you're mentioning that M5 era is right when the stock chassis stuff broke into the 9s. I remember when the first 99, the first 99 went 9s. It wasn't even on M5. That was on 30% nitro.
Yeah. Like, Miller's shit, like his FTW black is all juiced up on oxygen bearing agents. There's nothing special. It's like, what do you got in your shit? Right? We've seen it time and time before in all forms of racing.
So the BMF comes out, the chase for 9s, and at this time, stock chassis in the 99, that was the huge thing. There was no regulation really.
See, we're already out. When everything switched to Super 99, we were out.
Yeah, that's when, I missed that entire era of this car essentially racing.
This car didn't race in this form. This car only tested in this form. So this car, in whatever year whatever our last pass was, I don't even know. When you guys were switching into fuel and we're just sort of like, okay, M5, where do we stop with this? We mixed up to like 50% nitro and stuff like that. We can keep going, right? And at the time, people were running like 154, and we went out and blasted 166. I remember. And then I actually dumbed it down and say, yeah, it must have been a leaf blowing through, because I didn't want people to think, why the was that car going so fast?
And on the M5.
Yeah. M5 with extra in it, But when it became apparent that it was just switching to fuel, that's a new thing. Like, the enthusiasts don't know the difference between M1 and fuel. Now they do, because you made them separate classes. Back then, when everybody was running M5, everybody was just assuming it's a methanol class, right? But it's not. It's like, people just kept adding in there, right? So like Miller's FTW black, I don't know what that was. Probably
15%.
Probably M1 with nitropropane in it.
Yeah, nitropropane, some TAFU. I think when I measured it, it was something like 15%.
Right. So yeah, we pushed that. We pushed it all the way up until we could split blocks on the dyno. Like we knew where this was going. And then when the fuel cars with no wheelie bars started going that fast, it's just like, people won't understand. Like, if we come in with this car and we're just barely doing those numbers, you know what I'm saying? People won't get it. People will say, oh, I wouldn't run that level of nitro on this car. There's a certain point where it's just sort of like, it's no longer in alignment with the original purpose, which was to chase volumetric efficiency, right? You're chasing potential energy in chemical form. Well, I've always chased after, you know what I'm saying? That's where things really got blurred.
And that's where sort of the technology stops. So if you look at it, the release of the BMF, that chase for that improvement in VE was sort of stagnant after the introduction of fuel, because it stopped your push now because now I look back at the dates. I mean, if you're saying the 3, 4, and 5 are released
after 1 and 2.
Like the 1 and 2, I mean, we're talking 2016. That's 8 years ago.
Living well is the best revenge. No, putting your parts in other people's car and having them lie about it that's the best revenge, man. That one feels good. When they go to sleep at night, running my shit.
So you're talking a cam design that was sort of released to the public 8 years ago.
Yeah, with cylinder heads that were essentially released 8 years ago as well,
which we tested recently.
Right.
And then no advancement thereafter. So this has sort of been the filling of the gap for me, because I'm coming into the industry now during that exact same time, looking at the guys that are on top, the races and such, and the to say, you know, their elevation to the top is driven behind their, you know, their knowledge of that chasing V, when in reality, a lot of it was just fuel. A lot of it was just fuel, and then using parts that already existed.
And chasing that 9-second thing, like constantly, like, hey, I'm going to go 880s or 890s, and they could barely do it. They do it on occasion because the tracks out here suck, right? They were already on M5 Plus, right? It was already M5 Plus. It's not all motor at that point. The second you put plus anything into your M1, it's not all motor, right? And I'm sure there's ways to cheat M1 too.
You know, it's hard. It's very hard to do. I mean, I haven't found a way to really do it.
No?
I mean, it's
Good. Then that's where it should be.
in its pure form. I mean, you can use something as simple as a word test, right?
Right.
You mix anything in M1, instantly clouds.
Right. So the only reason why I have renewed interest in this is A, all motor is now being watched, right? And B, there's actually an M1 class. It's not like methanol plus class, right? Because the methanol plus is like first guy who runs 95% is going to win.
Sure.
If it holds together, first guy that runs 95 is going to win, you know? And we did all sorts of stuff in preparation of burning more fuel that we just parked, like all those magneto setups and all that. It was done a long time ago. We just parked it because that wasn't a chase that we're interested in getting into, right? And then of course the internet says, "Oh yeah, Skunk2, they can't hack it. They're afraid of racing." It's like, when have we ever been afraid of racing? It's like, luckily I don't never given too much credence to the peanut gallery, so I'm not affected by it. But it's sort of like, oh, in all those years we didn't race, we did like $1 million in sales, so I'm not going to feel too bad about it. You know, that's like, what would you have chosen? Chase a record in a class that doesn't really have rules, or sell $1 million worth of stuff and develop other markets? So it's like, yeah, I'm not in the same fight as them. It's like they can drag me down into that, you know, arena that you battle in, but that's not my focus, and it's never been my focus. It's like titles, records, no. It's like pushing technology. How do we make more efficiency? How do we be better each iteration that we go, and support my family? You know, kids are old, kids are raised. Now I have time to, what do you guys call it? FAFO?
Around and find out.
I'm an old guy that's FAFOing, right? And it's fun because my kids are old enough where they can be part of the marketing side of it. You know, hey, I can teach you some business skills while I'm around with Jamie.
So again, it's interesting again to fill in those gaps now, and to, again, through the conversations that we've had. I mean, we have probably 3 months worth of conversation that would probably kill the entire industry. But
yeah, sometimes we're having these conversations and I'm just sort of like, how many people actually would even understand what's being said here?
Yo, dog.
Certainly would. Yo, dog. You know? Yeah, you can bleep all of that. You can just bleep all the direct shots that I've taken out, because I really don't even care about these people anymore. It's like, I'm not there. Like, win, lose, or whatever, I don't care. Like, all of your record shit been on my shit for the last 8 years, whether you want to admit it or whether you don't. Like, you know, they say that living well is the best revenge. No, putting your parts in other people's car and having them lie about it that's the best revenge, man. That one feels good. You know, it's like when your competitors,
I mean, I've seen people in the pits
They don't need to tell anybody. They can tell people whatever the fucking story is, but when they go to sleep at night, they're running my shit.
Pow.
And
I can't hide that goal.
I'm sitting in their head, you know, rep free. Like, when's he going to come back out and wreck us again? Well, time's now. Get wrecked. I don't have fun doing it. Say all that you want. Your words ain't going to mean nothing now. The further I go in my career, the less your words mean. So we're just going to faff up. You know, around and find out.
The guys that we thought at one time were the smartest really aren't the smartest.
Well, you thought they were the smartest.
I thought they were the smartest. And a lot of it was just smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. You got to go down the nuts and bolts to really figure it out.